Yeah, so as Olive said, I look after the sales and marketing activity in Scotland for Icelandair. Icelandair is the national carrier of Iceland. And we incorporate music into our business in many different ways, some of them more obvious than others. For instance, when you board the aircraft, music will play. There's in-flight entertainment. We have it in our commercial adverts. But there's one activity in particular, Iceland's biggest music festival, that Icelandair was the founding sponsor of. So I want to give you a little bit of an overview of what this festival is, how it started, how it came about, and what Icelandair's contribution is to it in the beginning, right through to current day. Iceland Airwaves started life back in 1999 and was the concept of some guys at Icelandair's head office because they'd encountered a bit of a problem within the company. It was a bit of an issue. Back then, Iceland wasn't the popular destination that it is today. I don't know, one of you will know someone that's been to Iceland or that's going to Iceland or wants to go to Iceland. It is one of those hot destinations, and that's amazing news for us, but it wasn't always like that. In the 90s, it was typically just a summer destination. So as the summer season ended, of course, the flights became emptier, and that was an issue for the company. So everyone got their thinking hats on together and thought, how can we tap into a new market? How can we get passengers on our planes in the winter? So they had an empty hangar at Reykjavik Airport, quite glamorous there, as you can see. And they threw a stage in it. They asked some local Icelandic musicians to come by, and they thought, you know what, we'll invite some journalists from America, some journalists from Europe, and we'll make a go of making a festival. And thankfully, 17 years later, it is a huge, huge success. It's done nothing but grow year on year, and they don't have to play in dirty old hangars anymore. They can play in the country's most iconic concert hall. It's a 5-day festival that runs across the whole of Reykjavik. There's gigs that take place in small bars, right through to huge concert arenas like this. The people behind the concept took full advantage of two things: the country itself, the actual natural beauty of it, and also the strong musical heritage that Iceland has. And by teaming those things together, and with having a strong brand like Icelandair behind it, they were able to attract big names. So, well, that's just a nice image of inside that concert hall this year. That was just a couple of weeks ago. Gives you an idea of how the Icelandair branding works alongside the Airwaves branding. It's not too intrusive, a couple of planes here and there, but the main brand is Airwaves. Anyway, back to what I was saying about the lineup and how Icelandair's contribution helps, because they can help attract the big names, and the event organizers and the musical experts are the ones that bring in the local musicians and the ones that actually help keep lost my train of thought here. Yeah, you've got the big names, the local musicians, and they're the ones that garner the credibility of the event. And that is actually the reason that it has been so successful, because the corporate airline that Icelandair is keeps a back foot here. They don't intrude too much. They aren't really invested in the lineup anymore. That is completely the organizers that look after that. And every single year, this event has grown unprecedented. In the first year, we only had 2 bookings through the Icelandair website, the Icelandair booking function for a package. Today, it's in the thousands. And there's a lot of good things to say about this, but it's also not been without its challenges. Today, it's the #1 tourist attraction in Iceland, amongst many others. You know, you'll hear people talk about the Blue Lagoon, but this is actually the #1 visitor attraction, and it's brilliant that it's a musical festival and it's in the arts. You actually touched upon it earlier, Kath, the volcanic ash. Of course, everyone knows Iceland for the infamous volcano that erupted in 2010, almost brought every airline to its knees. We've had some political unrest in Iceland as well, but I think most notably was the 2009 financial crash, which Iceland was the epicenter of. And Icelandair as a company struggled quite significantly. You know, we fly into Glasgow daily now, and back then, I think the service was cut to 1 a week, and they were struggling. It was a fight for survival. And the Airwaves Music Festival was going through exactly the same thing, as was every other business in Iceland and Europe. So The organisers behind it, they wanted to fight for it. There was a lot of scepticism. There was doubt that it would pull through. And everyone got together, everyone from the marketing team in Icelandair, everyone in terms of the promoter, the organisers behind it knew that if this was going to succeed, that 2010's event was going to have to be one to remember. And whilst I wasn't there, I've heard amazing things about it, and they did just exactly that. And that was the year, interestingly, that Bombay Bicycle Club actually made a name for themselves as well. And after 2009, the horrific financial crisis, the government sort of reformed in Iceland, and the organisers took advantage of this. And they'd always wanted the government behind them to back it, because of course it was good for tourism, and there was mutual benefits there, but they never had the support. So they'd done a bit of research in partnership with Icelandair, and they discovered that the average spend per music tourist, so to speak, was about 260 euros. And it doesn't seem a lot of money, and the government didn't think it was a lot of money. But after doing the research, it was found that it was no more or less than a regular tourist that wasn't there for music, that was just there for the typical things that you go to Iceland for. But the big difference was the music tourist came back year after year. And when they did come back, they stayed longer. They explored the country. They didn't just go to gigs. So, of course, they were spending more money. And their campaign and their pitch worked, and they did get exactly what they wanted. The government backed them, which is brilliant. And probably the reason today why it is the #1 visitor attraction, because they've got that support now. So that gives you an idea of what the festival is, how it started, and what it has become. In terms of how the relationship works with an airline, which is a completely different organisation to a music festival, it works really, really well. So a big part of that is in the marketing. You know, you'll see it on all the promotional material for Iceland Airwaves that there will be small branding. It's always discreet, it's always tasteful, it's not tacky, and that's why it works. But it works in reverse as well, because our marketing teams around the world are fantastic at what they do. They push the brand really, really well, but they also push this brand really well. They respect that it is a completely different brand. The market is very niche, but they put it in the right place. I mean, we have a fantastic platform. We've got aircraft with 180 upward seats. People are sat in it for up to 8-9 hours at a time, staring at a television screen. They've got an in-flight magazine. It's the perfect opportunity to put this in front of them. And I've got an interesting picture coming up where you see Olaf. He actually featured in our in-flight entertainment in the Blue Lagoon, looking a bit worse for wear from the previous night, I might say. And of course, it's not only marketing that we both help each other out on. It's the actual functionality of getting the people there. Of course, we'll fly them there, but it's the process. So if you picture yourself, you've been on holiday, you've seen a little clip of Iceland Airwaves on the in-flight entertainment, and you're thinking, I want to go there. Chances are you're not going to go on Icelandair's website when you get home. You're going to check out Iceland Airwaves' website. And if all you want to do is book a ticket, it's easily done, like any other booking engine. But if you're looking for that entire package, this is the page that you're presented with. And this, honestly, is how easy it is. It gives you the lead-in price. It's already attractive. Because it is a package, it's reduced from piecing everything together individually. You select your departure airport, which event it is you want to go to, because it's not only Iceland Airwaves that we support other events in the arts industry, your dates, how many people, and there you go. You can also, as you go through the booking process, select if you actually want to book a hotel or not, if you want to book additional excursions, non-music related, and put the whole thing together, and at the end you have one ticket, and that's all you have to worry about. Interestingly enough as well, as a group, Icelandair owns several hotels in and around the Reykjavik area. So again, it's clear why it's beneficial for Iceland Airwaves, because they're getting a booking, but it's obviously clear why it's good for us, because we're getting people on our planes, getting people in our hotels. And not only that, we also offer those that are regular customers on Icelandair the opportunity to put in their frequent flyer number and receive discount on the ticket price. So there's so many cross benefits for these two organizations, which at one point were the same, and they're now very separate with individual identities. And of course, it works on mobile as well. This is just a screenshot of our website and a screenshot of Iceland Airwaves' website. Both, again, completely separate, but linking back and forth to each other. And it's not only ourselves that we promote and the event itself. There's many other partners. Like I said, people have the option to put a full package together and actually explore Iceland as a country. It is a 5-day festival, but it's not uncommon for people to go to Iceland for 7 days or even 2 weeks. There's so much to do. even if you came back every single year, there would always be something else that you haven't done. And these are all our other partners where it's possible to book excursions through who are also benefiting from this joint partnership. And this was a brilliant quote. It's quite long. I'm going to read it to you, but it is fantastic. And I promise you I did not pay the person to say it. It sounds like I might have. I first went to Iceland in 2000 to do a live radio broadcast at Airwaves. What I thought would be a fun long weekend has blossomed into a 16-year and counting relationship with a country that quite literally touches every aspect of my life. I've returned to Airwaves 15 times, covering the festival for US radio and TV, and have been to Iceland nearly 25 times in total. I certainly owe my entire association with Iceland to Icelandair. So it goes to show, yep, his interest is absolutely the festival, but without Icelandair, he wouldn't have got there. And it's an appreciation. And he probably has absolutely no interest in airlines, but he loves Icelandair for the fact that it's brought him to this. And there are so many other people with the same mindset and same experience. And there we go. There's this. So this is at the Blue Lagoon, which is like a geothermally heated spa. It's absolutely an amazing experience, especially if you're hungover. Were you hungover, Olaf? Yeah. Thought so. And as you can see, I think how many thousands of people have seen this as well, going on their holidays, and there's hungover Olaf.
That's actually Fogo doing the interview.
Is it?
So, yeah,
brilliant. Excellent. I love it. And of course, that's been updated now. There's new documentaries, and they just basically show you the highlights of the previous year's festival to get you hungry to actually want to go and see it. Not only that, there's catalogue after catalogue of Icelandic music. So, admittedly, I've seen it on trips myself when we've taken clients overseas. They'll always go to the charts, whether it's pop or rock, and you can see them scrolling through all the albums they know. But if you're on your way somewhere far away, you've listened to them, and then they try the Icelandic stuff, and it is so interesting, it is so different, it is a treat to the ears, it really is. And that's the type of thing that's going to get people interested in actually wanting to go to this festival. You got your picture? There we go. And again, another quote, I also didn't pay this person, sounds like I might have. The first time I flew to Iceland, I read about the Airwaves Festival in Icelandair magazine and was immediately intrigued. A couple of years later, I returned for the event and was pleased to find many of the artists were featured on the airline's in-flight entertainment. I've now been to Airwaves 3 times and have discovered countless bands in the process, so it really, really does work. All that marketing that we do is actually being aimed at the right market. It's an absolutely fantastic platform. And something a little bit different out with the festival itself, but something specific to the airline that, of course, any music tourist is a regular passenger on Icelandair would be entitled to. If you use the example, you're flying from Glasgow to New York on Icelandair, you're always going to connect through Iceland, wherever it is you're going to in North America, and you can stay for up to a week and your airfare wouldn't change. And a lot of people do use the stopover program to go to Airwaves. It is a 5-day festival, and that gives you a couple of days to explore the country as well. And we always encourage it, of course, because it's good for the Icelandic economy and good for our other businesses which the company own in the country as well. It'd be absolutely insane to fly through Iceland and not leave the airport, at least for a night. And during a stopover, well, this was an idea we came up with last year called the My Stopover Buddy program. Everyone that works for Icelandair that is based in Iceland, whether it's someone in head office, a pilot, cabin crew, flight engineers, caterers, whoever it might be, had the option to become a buddy. And the only requirement was that you had to have a specific interest relating to Iceland or a hobby. It could be anything from Icelandic foods, it could be snowmobiling, skiing, the geothermal activity, volcanoes, or Icelandic music was one of them. And once they had signed up, they were volunteers, so on their day off, if they got teamed up with a passenger, they would then use that day off to take them, and you touched on it upon earlier, people want a real experience, they don't want to feel like a tourist, and this is the perfect way to do it. So if you imagine someone that is going to Iceland Airwaves Festival, they're stopping over, they go on their website, put in their booking number, and they team up with Jimmy, an engineer who is a big fan of Icelandic music. He's going to take you off the beaten track. He's going to take you away from the typical touristy places that you'll find information online about, and you could go to an authentic Icelandic gig. Now, the benefits there for Icelandair are clear, and of course for the festival, he's going to want to come back next year because he's had an amazing experience. And these are just little things that are putting in added value because the aviation market in the whole entire world is so competitive, but in Iceland in particular, because it's become such a hot, excuse the irony there, destination, more airlines are coming in. So we're having to always be on our feet and think of different ways to try and attract our customers back year on year. And here's a great picture of the Blue Lagoon. I think they call this the chill party. And honestly, it is a great hangover cure, but I think it is probably because there is a bar there, so you're just topping up from the night before. And this is just another organisation which hugely benefit from this strong relationship that Icelandair and Iceland Airwaves have, because during that 5-day period, they're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, more people come than normal that would not have otherwise been there. Just another one of the organisations which are benefiting. And of course, many, many more. Iceland's #1 industry just now is tourism, and it is by far, it used to be fishing. This is elapsed at tenfold, and there are hundreds of excursion companies that we partner with, and we would hope that people that are coming to Iceland for Iceland Airwaves do get out and see the country, and we know for a fact that they do. So, you know, it all sort of comes back to the original concept of a brand partnership. From the outside, it seems very, very weird. If you talked about an airline, you think of it as like a stiff, corporate, boring old company. Why are they going to want to get involved with a music festival? And likewise, why would a music festival want to be associated with an airline? Because Icelandair I mean, if you look at it black and white, they want to fill those aircraft with people and make more money. And if you look at a musician in Iceland, they probably couldn't care less about that. But what they want is a bigger audience at the festival, and they want to attract brand new fans. So they want different things, but by working together and working in partnership, they can achieve it. So hopefully for many years to come, that will be the case. So thank you.